Do you ever feel totally trapped by a label that people have put on you since childhood? And it could even be a positive one, like smart. Then suddenly you feel like you need to uphold that smart persona all the time. The language we use is extremely important, and our kids are listening all the time. Welcome to Worldly Families. I'm Justine Janae. Traveling to over 40 countries and living abroad has opened my eyes to new ways of being and doing. I'm all about helping you expand your horizons so you can live and parent more intentionally and more joyfully. In this video, we'll be diving into Chapter 4 of The Danish Way of Parenting by Jessica Joelle Alexander and Iben Dissing Sandal. I highly recommend this book. It is the backbone of my parenting philosophy, and it's a super great read. So definitely check out the full book linked in the description below. Chapter 4 is R is for reframing. Here are the 7 takeaways from this chapter. 1. Pay attention to your negativity. Focusing your mind and paying attention, bringing awareness to those times when you're being negative will help you automatically. And if you want to try and take it a step further, you can try to think of ways to reframe your situation or think of another perspective on it that doesn't make you feel quite so bad. 2. Practice reframing. The Danes are what we call realistic optimists, which means that we're not ignoring the negative in life, we're just ignoring the unnecessary negativity in life, and focusing instead on the positive aspects that bring us more joy and affect our brain chemistry in a better way. So for example, instead of framing your situation like, ugh, I hate flying, you can focus it more on the fact that I really enjoy traveling once I get off the plane. By giving the gift of reframing to yourself and your kids, you're going to help your entire family cope with life's ups and downs a lot better. 3. Use less limiting language. Try eliminating very black and white limiting language such as I always, I never, I should, I shouldn't, she's like this, he's like that, I'm like this, you're like that. The reason is limiting language does just that. It limits us to our own perspective or to just one perspective. It leaves little room for any kind of wiggle room or evolving in a certain area. Try to speak in terms of preferences. I prefer this rather than I hate that. By using language that's less judgmental and more accepting, it will eventually turn you into a less judgmental and more accepting person. And it will teach your kids to be more accepting as well. 4. Try externalization language. This means separating the actions from the person. So instead of saying, she's lazy, which you're imbuing that person with that characteristic, say, she sometimes feels lazy. Right? So it's a passing thing that somebody is experiencing and not a label they might internalize for the rest of their lives. 5. Create a loving narrative. When you think about your child's quote unquote negative qualities, there's typically a positive flip side to that coin. Maybe they have trouble focusing, and instead of saying, they can never focus, you can say, wow, they have a lot of energy. They're so curious about the world in general. Focusing on the positive aspect of this will help you talk to your child about honing that in and kind of controlling that so it's not a strength that's overused. I also recommend rewriting your own narratives about what you perceive as your own negative qualities. What are the strengths on the other side of that coin? 6. Use supporting language. Try to help your children look under the surface, to pop the hood and go see what's going on inside. What are the emotions that they're experiencing? What are the intentions behind their behaviors? And also help them do that with others. What are the intentions behind others' behaviors? This exercise will help your kids learn how to lead themselves out of tough situations. 7. Use humor. Humor can be a great way to connect with your child and sort of pull them out of a negative funk. We don't want to negate their experience or deny them their experience. We want to acknowledge that acknowledge their emotion. If they need a hug, give them a hug and that kind of thing, and then use the humor to sort of lighten the mood and help them see the situation from a new angle. For example, if your child normally loves soccer and plays pretty well, but they had a really off day today and they're feeling down about it, you want to acknowledge the emotion. You want to acknowledge the fact that they didn't play their best. You don't want to, oh, well, you tried your best and kind of dismiss it that way. You can say something like, yeah, today wasn't your best, was it? Then you can remind them of a time that they have done well, in case they're saying, oh, I hate soccer, or I'm a terrible player. Remind them of times when they've succeeded. Well, last week you scored 2 goals. How did that feel? Well, it felt pretty good. Pretty good. You were dancing around the soccer field. Okay, yeah, it felt great. I really love it when I score goals. Okay, what can we do to help you play better? What are the things you do that help you be really on? Then you can talk about practicing more. You can talk about mindset going into the game, or whatever it is, whatever kind of support and things that your child might need. So then you're making a practical plan. You're moving everything into a kind of a logical part of the brain. Then you can bring in some humor and do a little bright siding, a little bit of, well, at least you didn't break your leg, right? Let me see, let me check it out. Did you break your leg? And kind of get a little bit silly with it. And by then they might be open to getting into that silly energy and also noticing like, yeah, it could have been worse. It's only okay to do that, at least you didn't, kind of like bright siding, after you've acknowledged the emotion and the experience that they're going through, in order to kind of lift them into a lighter spirited place. Reframing is an extremely powerful tool. I feel incredibly grateful that I was raised by a mother who is a natural reframer. Almost any situation she could find the positive side of. And of course you want to do it in a healthy way where you're acknowledging the feelings first and everything. And having the ability to find the positive in any situation it's a gift. It's really a skill, and you can develop that in yourself and then model it, and your kids will grow up fluent in reframing. This is one of the major core reasons why Danes are so happy. I'd love to know which of these tips really resonated with you or felt like something new and different you hadn't heard before. Please drop it in the comments below. And if you like my content and my style, please subscribe and click the bell to be notified every time I release a new video. Next week, we'll be diving into Chapter 5, E is for Empathy. Make it a great day, and I will see you in the next video.